don't lose faith in God. 19 says what?
Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury.
Nebuchadnezzar, he was already pretty high. He was full of fury at this point. And what happened?
And the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
His whole facial expression changed. He was already upset. It's almost as though y'all know what it's like. Somebody gets y'all upset and y'all nose begin to flare up and down.
Mercy. Mercy.
Those who are light-skinned begin to see their face turn red. Y'all know what I'm talking about? If you can't say amen, say mercy. What did it say?
Therefore he spake.
Therefore he spake.
And commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more.
I want you to heat it up 7 times more than it already is. Warmed up. And what?
And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army.
He commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to do what?
To bind Shadrach.
I want y'all to bind them up. Who? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And do what?
And to cast them into the burning fiery furnace.
Go cast them into the burning fiery furnace. And what happened?
Then these men were bound in their coats.
So these 3 men, bound in their coats, what?
Their hosen.
Their hosen.
And their hats.
Their hats.
And their other garments.
The other garments that they had on. And what happened?
And were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
They were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And what happened?
Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
And what?
And these 3 men.
And these 3 men.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego did what?
Fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
All fell down into the midst of this fiery furnace. Those that have captured them, fire slew them. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished and rose up in haste and did what?
And spake and said unto his counselors.
Hold on. He said to his counselors what?
Did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire?
Did we not cast 3 men bound into the fire? And what?
They answered and said unto the king.
They answered and said unto the king what?
True, O king.
For those who wear glasses, in a case like that, you may take your glasses off and polish them a little bit just to see if you're seeing things correctly. Didn't we throw 3 men into the fire? Yeah, king. We threw 3 men into the fire. And what did he say?
He answered and said.
He answered and said what?
Lo,
what?
I see 4 men loose.
I'm sitting here looking. Now we threw them in there bound. They were tied up. But why is it that I'm seeing 4 men loose walking around? And what did it say?
Walking in the midst of the fire.
Walking in the midst of the fire, and what?
And they have no hurt.
They aren't even hurting. Watch this. What's it say?
And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God.
That 4th one that I see walking around is like who?
The Son of God.
Now, I know it sounds impossible for someone to be thrown into a burning fiery furnace and not be scorched or affected in any way possible. But I have a feeling y'all want to say something right about now.
But God.
But God. But God. The faith that they had. They said, even if our God don't answer, we're still not going to serve you. Look at the 29th verse. What does it say?
Therefore I make a decree.
Therefore, I make a decree. What does it say?
That every people, nation, and language, which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, shall be cut in pieces.
If you try and say anything against the God of these three, you're going to be cut into pieces. That's my decree that I'm making right now. You're going to be cut into pieces, and their what?
And their houses shall be made a dunghill.
And their houses shall be made a dunghill. Why is that?
Because there is no other God.
Because there is what?
There is no other
There
God.
is no other God that can do what?
That can deliver after this sort.
It's impossible. Those three men were bound and thrown into the midst of a fiery furnace. And they were not affected. They weren't affected. That's God. It said, because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort. Let me tell you all a story. Some of you all may have heard this, some not. My family and I used to live down on the farm at one particular time. And my dad had went out and was reloading the fireplace because the fireplace was underneath the house. You had to go outside of the house in order to get to the fireplace. And trying to put wood in there and things of that nature, the fireplace exploded and burnt him. The whole side of your face? Could y'all look at him and tell that? Could you look at him and tell that? That's God. He could have been dead. Thank you, sister. But God. But God. It said, because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort. Faith without limitation. That's what those three Jews had. They had faith without limitation. Turn over to the St. Matthew's, the 9th chapter.
Amen.
St. Matthew's, the 9th chapter, and beginning right there at the 18th verse. Says what?
While he spake these things unto them,
While he spake these things unto them, behold, there came a certain ruler, and did what?
and worshipped him, saying,
Worshipped him, saying what?
My daughter is even now dead.
And my daughter is even now dead. But do what?
But come and lay thy hand upon her,
Come and lay your hand upon my dead daughter. And what?
and she shall live.
And she shall live. And what did it say?
And Jesus arose and followed him, and so did his disciples.
Jesus arose and followed him, and so did his disciples. And what did it say?
And behold, a woman, which was diseased with an issue of blood 12 years, came behind him and touched the hem of his garment.
This lady, with the issue of blood for 12 years, and came from behind him, and touched the hem of his garment. For what?
For she said within herself,
She said within herself, if what?
If I may but touch his garment, I shall be whole.
This lady said, if I can just touch the hem of his garment, I'll be made whole. If I can but just touch the hem of his garment, I'll be made whole. Same person that you reached out and touched at the beginning, do it one more time. Just touch him on the shoulder and let go. The 22nd verse said what?
But Jesus turned him about when he saw her.
Jesus turned him about, and when he saw her, what did he say?
He said, Daughter,
Daughter,
be of good comfort.
be of good comfort. And then what did he say?
Thy faith.
Thy what?
Thy faith.
Thy what?
Thy faith.
Thy faith hath done what?
Hath made thee whole.
Thy what hath made thee whole?
Thy faith hath made thee whole.
Did it say that it was the garment that Jesus was wearing?
No, sir.
What made thee whole?
Thy faith.
Thy faith. Now this is for all the, what do you call them, Pastor? City slicker preachers that are out there trying to